What's going on, guys? Today I'm installing drop shackles on my 2020 Silverado. This should work on any year Silverado or Sierra 2001 up. The steps should be pretty much universal. There might be a couple differences, but this should help you out regardless. And I'm going to have a tool list below. Make sure you check that out. Half the battle is finding the right tools, so I'll have a tool list below of what I use to install. And also, you guys caught a mistake that I made when I did this, so right about the 6 or 7 minute mark, I think it's 7 minute mark, I will pop in on this camera one more time and just tell you guys what to do properly, because I ended up cutting a bolt, which you didn't need to do. And thank you guys for catching that mistake. So now you guys won't have that problem, and I'll show you what to do to fix it. So enjoy the video. I know it's kind of long, but it does show everything. So thanks, guys, for checking it out. Okay, so first off, I'm going to measure the back fender here and the front fender here. When I started with this truck, I had a leveling kit on it. And then I decided that I didn't like how it rode, so I dropped the front end down in my last video, the torsion bar adjustment video, which I'll link above. And so now I got stock height in the front here. Now I'm going to bring this down to match it. So let's see what this measures. You can do this a variety of different ways. I'm gonna say somewhere in the ballpark of like 43, just maybe a little, like maybe 42 and 7/8. So let's see where we're at in the front. Roughly 42 and 7/8 in the back, and I mean we're at what, 41, 40 and 7/8, something like that.
Yeah, 47/8.
40 and 7/8. So my truck's approximately 2 inches higher in the rear. So this is why it's called the reverse level. So then we're bringing down the ass end of the truck to match the front. So it's not gonna be perfect. All right, now that we got this jacked up, gotta get some more blocks. Use the hitch here. We got the tires off the ground. I put the parking brake on, which I don't know is 100% necessary or not, but it's always a good safety precaution. But now we are putting a jack on the frame. I did it just inside this leaf spring here, on this part of the frame. Make sure you get it centered though, because you do not want this to slide and puncture your fuel tank. That would be a bad day. So yeah, on both sides we're gonna drop this down now. That way the suspension doesn't have any weight on it. And then we will be able to use the jack on the back to alleviate any pressure on the springs when we're taking it out. So we're gonna drop this down right now. But you do have to get the tires off the ground, and you do have to stabilize the frame. Now we're gonna drop this down. Frame's good, right?
Yeah.
Now it's just the springs. So our mounts are now sitting on the frame. And the only thing that's really, the reason my ass end is coming down now is it's the pressure on the springs. So now I'm going to try to alleviate all the pressure off of the springs so we can get the drop shackle out. Okay, so we just dropped the jack all the way. I'm trying to show you that there's nothing there. So jack's all the way dropped. All the tension's on the frame now, and there's just a little bit of a gap here on the tires, so there's not really any weight on them. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to get to these bolts up here. These are the drop shackle bolts, and we're gonna loosen them, and then I'm going to manipulate the jack a little bit to get it so there's no tension. I'm gonna slide the bolt out. So yeah, we're gonna undo these bolts right now. I'll play with the jack a little bit to get the tension off the spring, and then we'll slide the bolt out. Okay, so right now we are, let me see if I can get this camera angle in here. We are undoing the top bolt. 15/16 on both ends. I got a ratchet on the outside, and Cole is holding an open end wrench on the inside, and we're just loosening this up. Okay, so we got the top bolt completely off. Now we're gonna go to the bottom one. There's a hole in the inside of the frame right here. So I'm thinking the deep socket's gonna go on this end, and then we'll hold the open end wrench on this side and get this thing loosened. Okay, so we have a deep socket and a short stub extender with the wrench on the inside, and then I've got the deep socket and this wrench on the outside. So now I'm just going to loosen that. You can see the top one is already, the bolt is, or the nut's already off the bolt. Now we're going to loosen the second one. Okay, so both of the nuts are off here. Now all we're going to do is kind of play with the jack a little bit to get this tension off this spring, and we're going to slide these bolts out, and then we'll put the new shackles on. So hopefully it's that easy. Okay, so he's jacking up the differential here, and I just got to a point where I can actually slide this bolt out. Once you get there, you can start pulling the bolts out. So I might have to get something to, a pin or something to punch that through. But that is what you do. You manipulate the differential after your frame is suspended where the jack stands. You start slowly going up and you just push on this bolt like I was doing, and then all of a sudden it just slides right through. Oh yeah, it's coming out right now. I'll just get a pin. Okay, so we just slid, you let that drop. We just slid the bottom bolt out. Now we have to figure out how to get to the top one because the frame's in the way. I think there's a hole that you push this into. Well, when we install this, we're gonna put it in the other way, like a genius. Right now this, oh, it does come out. Would you look at that? It's already loose. Okay, see the problem is it hits the frame up here. Okay, so right here in this video, the top bolt's hitting the frame, and I had just used the jack to manipulate the differential to get the bottom one out. But actually, after the bottom one's out, you don't need to manipulate the jack anymore. That took all the pressure off of the spring. So now it's just the frame and that top bolt that's in there. All I needed to do was take the jack off the differential, slide it back to the hitch, jack it up, and that gets the frame clear of that top bolt. So I was too busy trying to figure out why this was hitting the frame, and I had that jack underneath the differential where I didn't even think to just bring the jack back and lift up the frame. So I ended up cutting this bolt. You do not need to do that. Don't do that. I actually emailed John C. to try to get some info as well, and they had a different process too. All you need to do is slide the jack back and pull that top bolt out. So I'm going to continue the video here. Oh, voila! Here is the stock drop shackle. So let's put it next to one of these drop shackles. Yeah, it might be a little more than 3/4 of an inch, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's a big difference. It'll look really cool. So now I'm gonna put this thing back on. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were ready. You might have to hear. I'm gonna take this. So now that I have the old drop shackle out, I'm going to take the new drop shackle, makes a fun noise, and put it in. Now obviously it's longer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the top bolt in first, and then after I get that top bolt in, we're going to adjust the suspension here so that I can get the bottom one in. Okay, I got the bolt in the correct way this time, by the way. That way this doesn't hit the frame if you ever want to change something. So now I'm just going to put this nut on. Just kind of a pain in the ass. And then I'm going to get it pretty tight, and then I'm going to get the bottom one on. Or adjust the suspension, I should say. That on. Now I'm just going to tighten this up. Pretty tight, probably not all the way, but pretty tight. and then we'll drop the suspension down so I can line this up for these holes. So got this fairly tight. I mean, there's still wiggle room in the top bolt, but that's fine. Now to get this gap, so I could swing this in, I believe I have to lift the truck up like so.
Hold that. That's pretty cool.
More. Okay. All right, I'm running in. So right now the issue is these ears here are like a little wide for this, so it's not really dropping into position. So we're gonna use a gentle tap of a hammer and a 2x4 and get this kind of forced into place because the bushings are a little wide. That's definitely not it, bro.
No, we're gonna.
Okay, so these things are like as tight as a tiger, so you can see that this thing just popped out here. I actually used the one that we cut off to guide this because the bushing is so tight here, like really tight. So use this to guide it in, pounded this one through behind it and got it in there. So if you guys are having an issue, use a smaller size screw to guide it, and a little help from the old trusty hammer, and then you can get this one in. Boom. Guys, so we got the bottom bolt back in, top bolt in, and now we're just gonna tighten this and we're good to go. One side's done. We did this without pulling the leaf spring. We did this without having to realign anything. We basically just lifted this thing up, unbolted the shackle, put the new one on. Okay, we got, sorry, I'm not quite to the rock around yet. Got everything tightened. Now we're taking our snap-on torque wrench, setting these things to 60 foot-pounds of torque. And once they're set to 60 foot-pounds of torque, you're good. So just getting these last bolts on and done. If you can see this or not. Oh, and I'm already at 60 on that one. Perfect. Now it's time for a walk around. Okay, so got this side done. I was gonna do a walk around for you guys, but obviously I didn't finish the passenger side yet. Luckily I have this exhaust piece that I modified, which I'll put the link in now because it makes it way easier to get through these drop shackles when that's removed. So if you have this already done, you're gonna have a really easy time doing this. And I already got done with the second one, and I think it took us like 8 minutes, 9 minutes, right? Yeah, it took us like 8 or 9 minutes to get one side done. So as long as you have the extra parts and you end up cutting that bolt, this takes no time at all. So I hope this video helps you out. Got both these on, I'm about to lower the truck, and we'll do some measurements. Okay, so we just lowered the truck back down, and I can already tell you, it's like, from an eyeball, I'm gonna say it's like perfect, perfectly level. Let's take a quick measurement here. We are now at, it's like kind of hard where you judge it, but I'm about 41. I'm like 41 and a quarter, I think. It's like right at 41, just kind of depends where your head's at. And I believe it was 42 and 7/8 before. So that's almost a full 2-inch drop. I don't remember what I am up here. So we're right around 41 in the back. And we are at like 40 and a quarter. So that's within 3/4 of an inch or so. of level. And that is like perfect. I mean, I can't wait to get this thing out. Even from the back, it just looks so mean. The tire, everything's just lined up. It's like perfect. So I'm gonna get this thing out in the sun, clean up these tools, and then I'll do a walk around, and then I'll get some pictures. So thanks guys, hope this helps. All right guys, just got it all washed up. This thing sits absolutely perfect. Super happy on how this turned out. It's about as level as this thing's gonna get. Huge shout out to John C. Garage for making these things and hooking me up with a set. So I'll link him in the description below, or whoever his preferred shop is that sells these. But huge shout out to John. Thanks for hooking me up with these. Super happy how this turned out.